I'm Dan Gibson. I'm coming to you from Crystal Springs. I'm standing in front of City Hall. I had the pleasure of being mayor here. During my time as mayor, it was exciting. With the help of a lot of people, we did a lot of good things. We put people back to work. We brought jobs to Crystal Springs. We improved infrastructure. We tackled crime. And you know, we did all of this without raising taxes. And we left a budget surplus when we left office. It was a great time in my life, and I look forward to sharing with you during this brief video a few of our accomplishments. We're at Mississippi Job Corps Center in Crystal Springs. When I was mayor here many years ago, I served on the board for the Job Corps Center. I lobbied for job training, even lobbied in Washington, D.C. for job training programs. Little did I know that then I was learning the skills that I can now put into practice to help Natchez and to build job training in our beautiful city. This is the Family Medical Clinic of Crystal Springs. When I was mayor, I had the pleasure of working with a young doctor at the time, James Irvin, and we were able to get him to move back to his hometown, buy some land, and open a medical clinic. Here it is, 20 years later, serving the needs of the community and creating jobs for Crystal Springs. I'm standing in front of the Crystal Springs McDonald's, and I was the mayor who cut the ribbon on that McDonald's. It was an exciting time over 20 years ago when we helped put 40 people to work. One of my proudest days as mayor of Crystal Springs was cutting the ribbon at the dedication of this National Guard Armory. When I became mayor, the National Guard had left Crystal Springs. They were drilling out of Jackson, and we did everything we could to recruit them back to Crystal Springs, sell them city-owned property that was going to waste, and this multi-million-dollar beautiful armory was the result. Behind me is Chautauqua Lake, a spring-fed lake, very historic in this area of Mississippi. And as mayor, I was shocked, along with others, to learn that a private developer was about to buy up the entire southern shore, cut down every tree, and create a housing development. We immediately reached out to contacts we had made in Jackson. We worked quickly. We established grant funding through the Mississippi Pearl River Basin Development District. And before the developer could buy it, the city of Crystal Springs bought it, and we saved our lake. I'm standing in front of Chautauqua Park, one of the largest municipal parks in the state of Mississippi. But do you know, when I became mayor, we did not have a Department of Parks and Recreation in our town. I was the mayor who started the Department of Parks and Recreation right here in Crystal Springs. We set about restoring our basketball courts, our tennis courts, and maintaining our public parks. You know, both of my grandfathers were tomato farmers. They would sell their tomatoes right here in Crystal Springs, then known as the Tomatopolis of the world. Well, many years later in the 1990s, when I became mayor of Crystal Springs, it was my pleasure to be a part of the reinstitution of the Tomato Festival. It's now a perennial event, and it brings thousands of people to Crystal Springs every year. It has reestablished Crystal Springs' dominance as the Tomatopolis, the tomato capital of the world. We're standing in front of Nat'l, a company that I recruited to come to Crystal Springs when I was mayor. This used to be property owned by the city of Crystal Springs, and we negotiated a deal with a guy from Raymond, and we brought a lot of jobs to Crystal Springs. One thing I was really excited about when I was mayor is we got the Highway 27 corridor fully lit. These lights behind me may seem like a small thing, but over 20 years ago, it was a big thing to take a little country road and light it up. When I was mayor of Crystal Springs, I worked with state representative at the time, Tom Wallace, and the president of Friends of Children of Mississippi at that time. I sold them, along with the city of Crystal Springs help, this plot of land. We helped them as they built a multi-million-dollar Head Start facility, and here we are 20 years later. It still serves the children of Crystal Springs. When I was mayor of Crystal Springs, this was one of the largest manufacturers of commercial transformers in the southern United States. At that time, they were struggling because they needed to expand. We gave them a city road. We also expanded an intersection and did everything we could to make the process smooth, meaning expansion of industry and more jobs for Crystal Springs. You know, small things can be big things. When I became mayor, this fountain right downtown hadn't been run in several years. We got the crew out, we fixed it, filled it with water. It's been running ever since. I thank you for joining me on this little trip down my memory lane. But Natchez Now is not the time to look backward. It's the time to look forward, and I look forward to being your mayor. But I'm not your mayor yet. We still have an election, a close election. I thank you for your vote in the primary, but I ask for your vote again. It's important. It's critical to our future, Natchez. We deserve more.